Hello, I'm Lily. Welcome to the Ladybug Laboratory podcast. It's been a bit. This is my first real episode in a while. You can find me on Ravelry at Ladybug Lily. You can find me on Instagram at ladybug.lily. There will not be show notes on Ravelry. There will not be show notes in the description. I don't have that kind of life right now. Everything's a little bit chaotic. I took one take. I did not take notes. I just referred to my tablet. So it is what it is. I'm recording this intro last because, yeah, that's how I normally do it. So I know what actually to say. Today I was drinking Earl Grey tea, just regular old Earl Grey tea in this Pinecone ceramics mug, which has a little notch there for your tea bag, which is very fun. And I'm wearing my Life Goes Ever On shawl right now. For part of it, I'm wearing this. It is my finished object that I talk about, as well as my Mend It Hun sweatshirt, because it is Marches for Mending. Make it first, make it last, Mend It Hun by Shelly Can Fine Goods. So what do we have today? We have works in progress, we have Marches for Mending, and we have finished objects. And then at the end, I will add a little bit of talk about how the renovations are going so that you can skip that if you want to. All right. So, works in progress, or UFOs. Let's start with knitting content. This is not all of them. This is just the ones I've been working on recently. Let's start with this one. This is, hold please, my Heart Home socks. I have like the stuff over here because my printer isn't working, so I can't like print out a picture to show you, and so all my information is on my tablet. So these are the Heart Home socks. They are by Wool and Pine Designs, and they're these really pretty cabled socks. Got this beautiful cable design on the sides, and it's got this XO motif down the center. So I was making these with some just like random sort of DK weight. I don't even know. I think it has some wool content, but it feels pretty nylon-y. Yarn that I got for free last year. The socks are meant to be like this, and then they have like a tie that comes through with like little pom-poms. And this yarn that I got for free last year, I got two of the dark blue and two of the light blue. And so this pattern came out in, I guess, late January. And I decided that I was going to make these socks for myself because I wanted some nice, cozy DK weight socks. And then as I was going, I realized that I kind of saw the XO motif for the first time. And I don't know why it took me so long to see the XO motif. I mean, the pictures very clearly had it on their Instagram and stuff, which is where I saw these socks. But so then I decided, well, so originally I had done just all dark blue, and I had gotten to about here. And I said, well, I'm going to frog it, and I'm going to do dark blue cuff and light blue. And I'm going to make dark blue toes and cuff, light blue sock for my husband, and then other way around for myself. And we'll have these cute, like, matching Valentine's Day socks. And that just didn't happen. Obviously, as you can tell by this is not in the finished object section, the UFO section. So, my husband has really weird feet. Any of you that are longtime viewers know that he has weird feet. He just does. They're not, I don't want to say they're not proportional, but like his heels and ankles and like foot circumference don't fit a normal sock, which is why he appreciates hand-knit socks so much, because they're much more comfortable for him than other socks. But this is the first DK weight pair of socks that I've made him. And so all of my go-to strategies for making socks for him went out the window. I had to kind of start from scratch. So I ended up frogging and redoing the heel area like 4 or 5 times. 3 or 4. But once I got it figured out, and then I had to do some decreases at the toe, but once I got it figured out, it fits great. He loves it. So then I just started going on the second sock, and that's just been, I've been chugging away at that. And I kind of put it on hold for a while because I've been working on other things, but I'll probably actually finish this weekend. It's a good project to take to my daughter's swim class. So yeah, I'll probably finish that this weekend, and then I'll get working on my version of the sock. And that is living in this project bag, which is a Black Squirrel Collaborations project bag from back when I was living in California, dear to my heart. Next work in progress. Oh, stretch. Okay. This one is living in my Library Kitties sweater bag. As you can tell, it is a sweater. I don't know who this bag is by. I feel like it has a tag. I had this bag for so long. Oh, there's the tag. You so-and-so. So this, I'm calling my Grandma Lily sweater. It's the pattern is Grandma's Medley, so I've seen it written Grandma's Medley or Grammy's Medley in a couple different places by Tina Tse Knits. Tina Tse Knits, TSE. She's awesome. She makes some really cool designs. And it's a super scrappy, fun knit. Oh no, this is about to fall off my needle. Hold on. Okay. It's a super Oh, you know what? I should keep going on this. Okay, I will explain this in a minute. It's a super scrappy, fun knit. So, there it is. I'm super duper happy with it. So, I've got 3 different yarns in this one. I've got the yellow is 3 Irish Girls Springvale sock in butternut. The blue, I don't know what the blue is off the top of my head. And then the green, this is kind of a trick question because I have 2 different greens. They are both Homestead by Knox Yarn Co., which is a yarn company that doesn't exist anymore. It's an independent dyer. She stopped dyeing. But this one is Diana sock. Whatever. And this one is Mars sock. And so the bases are different. This one is your typical like superwash 80-20, I think. This one has something else in it. I don't remember what. But you can kind of tell. Let me find a good example. Here we go. Just kind of folding it funny. Okay. You can kind of tell that they're different. So this one is the Mars sock and this one is the Diana sock. So I've been working with Diana sock this whole time. And then I switched to the Mars sock for the sleeve. And that's when I stopped working on it. Because I realized that they look a little different. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna keep going or not. I don't want to frog this. I really love the way that the Diana sock turned out. I love it so much. It's like, oh my gosh, it's all my favorite colors. And I like the Mars sock too. It's just not as saturated. But of course, Knox Yarn Co. isn't dyeing anymore, so I can't get more of the Diana sock. I'm sure somebody has it in their D-stash, but it's not me. If you happen to have Knox Yarn Co. Diana sock in your D-stash, in the color Homestead, let me know. But this has kind of been on hold because of that. But I'm really enjoying the knit. I cannot wait to have this sweater. I started it in when did I start it? October. I started it in October. Tina Say was doing like a Tina Say Knits Along that went until the end of the year, and I didn't finish it, obviously, but that's fine. But yeah, if you or someone you know has Knox Yarn Co. Diana Sock Homestead in their stash that they want to get rid of, let me know. Okay, knitting works in progress. I've got one more that I haven't technically started. I'm working on the Afterglow top by Coquettish Knits. And I'm using this Araucania Ruca yarn, which is so shiny. Like, you can't really see, but it's just like shimmery and shiny. And it is technically sport weight. But it is 100% sugarcane viscose. So, yeah. And this is my swatch. That's all I've done so far is swatch. But it's so shiny and pretty. So this is kind of a test knit. The Afterglow top. So previously, Coquettish Knits had the Afterglow top. They had the Afterglow tank, Afterglow peplum, Afterglow ruffle. They are adding the Afterglow dress. And what they're doing is sort of reworking the whole pattern, making it so instead of having different patterns, it's one pattern. And they're adding like a modification manual, so you can do 2-color and you can do bust darts and stuff, and you can just kind of like do whichever version you want. And then they're also putting together a lookbook. So they're having several people from each size like give their body measurements, knit the top, and then take like accurate pictures of what the various things look like on them and their body. And then they're going to have that as like a lookbook, so you can look and see like what it would look like on your body, which is really cool. So I'm participating in that, which is great because I've wanted to knit the Afterglow top for a while. And it's the thing that I love about like test knits is that it just kind of gets me to make something. It's kind of my motivation to do the thing. So that doesn't have a project bag right now. I have project bags coming in the mail from Republica Unicornia Knits, or Republica Unicornia Yarn Co. I'm very excited. That is it for knitting works in progress that I've been working on actively recently. I have a cross stitch work in progress, and I have some sewing stuff. I'm only going to show you one sewing thing because I forgot to bring the others downstairs. So, this is my cross stitch. There's a podcast that I listen to. None of this is going to make any sense to you if you don't listen to this podcast, but there's a podcast that I listen to called What the Folklore, that what they do is they read wild and wacky fairy tales that, like, you know, Disney hasn't covered because they're that crazy. And they're on like the 300th episode at this point. It's crazy. But the most bizarre phrases come out of this podcast, such as bovine wonderball, flood of beef. This is a thing that literally happened in a fairy tale where someone was given an egg that opened and just like a cascade of cows came out of it. And one of the hosts said, "I'm sorry, is this an egg that is actually a bovine wonderful that releases a flood of beef?" And so a while back in September of 2022, somebody in the podcast Discord put together like a list of these fun phrases that came out of the podcast and did a drawing challenge for a bunch of people, like, okay, so make some art. And I decided to make pixel art, and then I decided to make it into a cross stitch, and then I decided to tell everybody in the podcast group, and then a bunch of people also wanted to do it. So I'm doing this like year-long weekly thing, and we started on Valentine's Day on the February 14th because that was the anniversary of the podcast starting. I sound like I'm like crazy obsessed with the podcast, but I got really into making this cool thing. It gave me purpose. I haven't had a thing to do outside of like the dishes in a very long time. I don't really like my life right now. That's a different topic. But so week 1 was Saint Thorax. I hope you can see this because I can't see what you can see. Saint Thorax. Week 2 was Bovine Wonderball Flood of Beef. I haven't finished that yet. I still have to do like back stitching around here. Week 3 was Punzel 5000. And I'm working on week 4, which hasn't happened yet, but I'm working on them ahead of time so that I can like post the picture and share it when it is that week. And so that is going to be a strip club for horses. So that is my cross stitch work in progress. Yeah. I'm kind of going to be working on that all year long, and I'm excited. For sewing, I am working on a pattern by, it's a quilt pattern. I want to say Tiny Orchard Quilts. I will correct that if that's wrong, but I think it's right. And I think it's called the Minerva pattern, which I will also correct if it's wrong, but I think it's right. And it's like this cool little plaid pattern. So I've got all these blocks that I'm making. It's a free pattern. And so last year I also got a free pack of, it's called a charm pack, which is 5-inch squares of fabric from the same fabric line. So these are all fabrics from the same fabric line. And I bought a little bit extra of some of these fabrics so that I could, and cut them up into 5-inch squares to make this. It's really simple. It's just like sew rows, and it's exactly what I needed because so I bought that fabric last year in anticipation of doing this, and it got put on the back burner. But it was still like in the package in the hallway, which is great because as some of you may know, my entire studio is under renovations right now. So I ended up getting a sewing machine because I needed a new one. Mine was just straight up broken. And they had a big sale at my local quilt shop. So I got a new sewing machine. So I can't get into my studio to do like most things. But this package of fabric was not in my studio. I climbed over a bunch of boxes and furniture to get like my iron and like my cutting mat, and that's kind of all I needed. And I set it up on a folding table in my bedroom because I was like, I need to sew. Because we dismantled the outbuilding to start doing renovations on January 3rd. So it's been 2 months now. So I've been working on this. It's been simple. It's been exactly what I need because I've got so many crazy things going on with the renovations. And I will talk about that in a different section at the end probably. So that is what I've got for works in progress. Next up, mending, because March is for mending, baby. Today is the morning of March 3rd. I have mended 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 things so far. I haven't done any today, but the first and the second I did 10 things. So I'm going to show them to you. First up, I've got this bag, when it is warmer, I walk my daughter to school. When it is warmer out, I bring this bag and I knit as I walk. My knitting needle is stuck in the bag right now. But when it is cold out, like it is right now, I wear mittens because I have Reynolds and my hands don't like the cold. But one of the straps had come off. So what I did is I picked open the seam, put the strap back in, and just sewed it back on. You can see it's like bright blue thread. And I actually reinforced the other side too, just in case. So those are really quick, like simple mend. Another one is this shirt. One of the side seams had ripped open. So there it is, that bright blue yarn or bright blue thread. That's all that I've been using is this bright blue thread because again, I can't get into my studio to get the not bright blue thread. So this is what I have is bright blue, pastel pink, and white. This one is actually going to represent two. So my husband has, oh, I think I need to do this one too. My husband has two jackets like this one, and then also another one that's like blues. And this is actually a great example because I didn't realize that the other arm had it too. So in one of them the button had come off, but in another one the button just like tore through and is like loose and floppy. So I need to do this one. But what I did is I unpicked the button and put let's see if you can see. So you can see that like there's two layers there. So in between the fabric and like this other side where the button is, I put a fusible fleece to stabilize it. And then I just put the button back on. So I did that here, and then I also did it on his blue one. I'm gonna have to do it here as well. So the dark blue one he's actually wearing right now. So count that as two things. I also mended two different pairs of underwear, which I'm not showing you, but 3 mends across 2 pairs of underwear. This is a brown sweater of mine, and the armpit was just completely open. You can kind of see the blue thread a little bit. No one's gonna look at my armpit. I don't really care. Could see it a lot more on the inside. But that was another one of those, just like real quick, put it under the machine. And then this is an old bathing suit of my daughter's. Doesn't fit her anymore, but one of the straps had come undone and another one was coming undone. So I put the one strap back and then I just reinforced both sets of straps so that they looked the same and they were both reinforced. So that is all of my things that I've mended that are textiles so far in March. And again, that's over 2 days. I have also mended some non-textiles. So this mug, the crack right there, and I put it back. I might have to reinforce that with epoxy. This glass, the crack, you can see the glue residue on it. There we go. Can you see that? I'm gonna have to wash the glue residue off, but I'm waiting for it to be a couple days so it really sets. And this bowl had a crack down here, and then there's 2 pieces there. I don't know where this third piece is. If I find it, I will glue it on. After I did those, I thought, oh, I should have done kintsugi, the one with the gold. So if that glue doesn't hold, that's what I'm gonna do. It's stronger anyway. And then this one, the tape is on there because the glue is setting. This is a game, it has tiny bean bags and you like try and get the bean bag in the other person's, and this just was completely coming off. So I just re-glued it back on. The glue is currently setting, but it works again. The glue is probably set. I could probably take the tape off. It's been 24 hours, but yeah, so that is everything that I have mended so far. So I'm only going to show you one finished object today. I have a bunch that I've finished over the course of the time that I haven't been recording. Shocked. But the one that I'm going to show you is one that's really special to me. And it is my Life Goes Ever On shawl. It's huge. And I'm gonna stand up and try and show it to you. So it's really big and it's soft. Oh no! Sorry. It's soft and cozy, and it's got this beautiful beaded design. And it's not focusing. It's so gorgeous in person, you guys. It's blowing out. It's unfortunate. Oh, there we go. That's what it looks like in real life. Now I have to hold this very awkward position. No. So my Life Goes Ever On shawl is the Ever Again pattern by Boo Knits. And I started it in September 2018, which was around the last time I really recorded. If you look at the pattern, it's got a bunch of garter stitch. It's a triangular shawl, that has a bunch of garter stitch as it gets bigger and bigger. It's got garter stitch, and then it has this lace border at the end. And I started it in September 2018 because I was flying to my mom's cousin, my first cousin once removed, but my cousin Dennis was dying of brain cancer, and I was flying to take care of him, and I needed something simple, just back and forth garter stitch that I could work on by his bedside. So I started this shawl. And I forgot to tell you the yarn. I'll do that in a minute. I'll tell you the history first. So then shortly after I got back from Dennis's passing, is when I got pregnant, and I had a really, really rough pregnancy. I didn't knit for most of my pregnancy. It was really bad. I was just passing out on a regular basis. It was really bad. And then we moved across the country. The project just kind of got put on hold. And I didn't want to frog it because it was really important, but I was only like a third of the way done, and I didn't know what to do with it. And then in 2021, in March of 2021, my grandfather had a stroke, and my mom flew down to see him, and she never flew back. I mean, she did eventually, but in May he passed away. And my grandfather kind of helped raise me in a lot of ways when I was a kid. And so I took this shawl back out again, and I flew to his funeral. I worked on it on the plane, and I finished the garter stitch while I was there, and I started working on the lace on my way back. And then I set it aside, and then about a year later, my Aunt Jenny, my great Aunt Jenny, but my grandfather's sister, who was also very, very special to me, and passed away. And she had a virtual funeral, so I was working on the lace while I attended her virtual funeral. And then a few months later, we had like a second funeral for her at her actual interment, because they did like one where she lived and then one where she was going to be at the family plot, um, as part of a big family reunion. Um, and so I took this and I worked on it, and I did this last garter edging on the drive down to essentially my ancestral family home. I mean, that's a little bit of a melodramatic way to put it, but the place I went every summer as a kid to see my Aunt Jenny. And I finished it up playing games with my cousins, and it was the perfect way to finish the shawl. It was absolutely the perfect way to finish the shawl. Um, and the shawl is warm and cozy and exactly what I wanted out of this knit. It served all of the purposes that I needed. It was a perfect simple knit when I needed it to be a simple knit by Dennis's bedside and when I was comforting my grandmother, and it was the complicated knit on the plane home when I needed it to distract me and when I needed to keep myself together at the funeral, the digital virtual funeral. And then it was a simple knit again in the car and playing games, and it was everything I needed. And it continues to be everything I needed, everything I need. It hugs me when I need a hug. Um, my life goes ever on, y'all. So, yeah. Um, and I thought it was a fitting one to share because pretty sure I shared it on the last real podcast I did. For yarn, it has three main yarns. It has this dark fingering weight, and then a light fingering weight, which is held double with the mohair. I think it's mohair. So the dark is Madeline Tosh sock Joshua Tree. The light is Earl Grey Darjeeling sock in Leaves of Grass. And the mohair is Sugarbush Yarns Drizzle in Moss. So yeah. So if all you were here for is crafting content, goodbye. And now I'm going to talk about some renovations. So yeah, the outbuilding has been working on. So the basement no longer leaks, which is great. This house is from 1868. The basement has brick, concrete, cobblestone, fieldstone, and dirt. It's fine. It's just kind of like a horror story. It's got like an original icebox from like the 1920s. It's actually kind of cool and kind of scary at the same time. I mean, I don't find it scary, but a lot of people do. Several people I know refuse to go in it. But the cobblestones, the mortar between them, like you could just like stick your hand in and it would just like all the powder would come down. So there's no longer mouse-sized holes. It's no longer leaking. That's very nice. The outbuilding is no longer sinking, which is also very nice. They're putting a floor back in the outbuilding, and previously we just had like a plywood floor there. But now they're gonna put like a real actual, I mean it's like laminate, but like a real actual waterproof laminate flooring in the outbuilding or shed, which is gonna be awesome. And once that's done, I will start getting my studio back. We have been painting on the weekends while they've been doing the renovations because all the stuff is out of there and the floor doesn't exist. So it's a good chance to not get paint on things that we don't want paint on. So I'm going to finish painting this weekend and we'll be good to go. We also have a really weird alcove that I got that we've been wanting to put shelves in ever since we moved in 3 years ago. And I finally put shelves in. And we also have another weird alcove under the stairs that has just held stuff, but I think I'm going to turn it into like a little cubby for the cat's litter. So that's not just like sitting in the hallway. And we'll see how that goes. I will keep you posted. All right. I hope you're all doing fabulously. Enjoy your time zone, and I will talk to you later.